Hello everyone, I am the Desert Gardener, and in my last video we planted tomato and pepper seeds. Now the tomato seeds sprouted up very quickly, and it didn't take very long before they started hitting the underside of the dome. So we took the dome off, and there's a few things that need to be done at that point. So I have my tea, let's talk about those. So the first thing that happens when the plants start hitting the bottom of the dome is you just simply remove the dome. That's pretty obvious. You need to give them room to grow. Now you'll notice that these tomato seeds are very tall and very skinny. That's what we call being leggy. Now that was actually my fault. Unfortunately, when they first broke the surface of the soil, I turned on my grow lights and I made a mistake with the timer and they didn't go off properly. So for the first 2 days, the grow lights didn't turn on. So that caused them to get very tall and skinny. Fortunately, that's not a huge issue. It just means that when we transplant them into little cups, we're going to plant them a lot deeper. Now, there are a few things that need to be done now. The first thing is we need to start checking the tray for water more frequently. When the dome is on, it's really kind of an enclosed environment and you normally don't need to water. But now that the dome is off, there's going to be more evaporation. We may need to water more frequently. Do not let the tray dry out. And if it does, make sure you water with warm water. You want the water to be about 80 degrees. We want to keep everything warm. We want the plants to think it's springtime. The next thing we need to do is we need to check the soil from time to time to make sure there's no fungus. Now, if we do see any mold or fungus, there are a couple of things we can do. The first one is we can just take a sprayer like this. We put 4 parts water and 1 part hydrogen peroxide and simply spray over the whole thing. You can spray the soil, you can spray the plants. It's not going to hurt anything. You can use quite a bit. It's not going to hurt anything at all. The other way to deal with it is actually with cinnamon. Now this is right out of my spice cabinet, and this is the method that I usually use. If I see any mold or fungus or anything, I just sprinkle cinnamon on it, and it kills it right away. It dries it out and gets rid of it pretty quickly. So that's the method that I like. The other thing, and this is very important, especially with plants that are leggy like this, is we need to put a fan on these plants in the middle of the afternoon every day, or as often as we can manage. Now, just off camera, I have a tall tower fan, and it's got a timer on it. So in the middle of the afternoon, when it's the warmest, you can see I've folded up my emergency blanket that I use as a tent, and I'm going to set the fan to go off for an hour or two each day. I'm going to put it on its lowest setting, and I'm going to make sure it's on the oscillating setting so it goes back and forth. This is very important. It helps keep fungus away, but more importantly, it helps strengthen the stems. Being indoors like it is, there's no wind in here, so we need to create some wind to help strengthen those stems. And that's about it. From there, I'm just going to at night, of course, I'm going to put the blanket down. It's going to keep it nice and warm. That's especially important for the peppers, which are next to it. They're just barely starting to sprout, but they have a little ways to go. And then for about the next 2 months, we're just going to let them grow. We're going to keep moving the lights up a little bit if they start getting too close. And in about 2 months' time, they should be ready to transplant into cups. That's when I'll make my next video. So if you want to see that, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you then.